Okay. All right, sorry, getting text messages. Okay, so here's what we have today. We're going to be doing the 8.4 bus schedules today, so that's what we're going to be looking at. I'm recording my iPad screen. I'm recording a camera that's behind the webcam. This is the webcam. I have a camera, the class camera that's behind recording me. I'll try to submit this again on my website. There was a slight issue with yesterday. I was doing the work yesterday, and I noticed the webcam, because I put myself picture-in-picture in the corner. It was covering some of the work that we did in class. That's why I submit screenshots of my iPad on my website, so you can see the notes. So if you need those exact details, like what I was writing, you can look at the pictures that are on the website. So so the picture-in-picture wouldn't have blocked it. So yeah, apologies for that. Unforeseen issue. I didn't really think about that until I did the picture-in-picture, and then I realized, oh my goodness, yeah, my face was over top of some of the work we were writing, so not a big deal. Again, thanks for being here. I know this is time out of your day that you're kind of here, kind of in class, but I appreciate it. This is how I take attendance, so you guys have already been marked. I'm just waiting for some of the others to kind of pop in here. I wouldn't be surprised if some pop in while we're actually doing, while we're doing class here. But again, Google form question has been submitted out. The question of the day is, on the second problem we're doing, what is the time it would take to get between the two cities? What is the time? And you have to put it in terms of hours and minutes. So that's what we're going to look at. So I know you guys are kind of anxiously waiting the second problem today, so you can answer the question. So, but thanks for being here. We'll get started here. This is what your homework will be based on. It'll be based on the bus schedule. It's actually going to be using this very picture right here. This is the one we're going to be using. So
the 8.3 on Google Classroom, is that what we're getting today?
Yeah. So I think or it's like 8.3 or 8.4. It's a worksheet, or it's a book assignment. It's page. I don't know what page is it. I don't have it written down here. It's a page number, and so I don't know what exact page that is. I don't have my book in front of me. 8.3, that's the worksheet. That was the stuff from last Friday. So that was the one that you're probably still working on.
It says 8.2 on it.
Yeah, 8.2, fine. That's the one on distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was the one I think we did last Friday. The homework that we're getting today via Google Classroom, you probably just got it, was page 217. That's the new assignment we're getting today. It's based on this drawing, this graph right here. I have this graph attached to the Google Classroom. The Google Classroom tells you what the assignment is. It shows you this picture, and it also shows you a picture from the textbook, the page 217. So you don't physically need your book in front of you to do it. You're going to do all the homework on a piece of paper, and then you'll submit that paper on Google Classroom, if that makes any sense, with all your work on it. So do your work on a normal piece of paper, take a picture of it, submit that on Google Classroom. Or you can
bring it to you tomorrow?
I want it submitted on Google Classroom. So I want all homework submitted there, because we need to get this kind of process down, because I'm fully expecting that at some point we're going to be fully distant learning, like not hybrid. So we're going to have to get used to attaching all those photos to Google Classroom and submitting them on the classroom. I know you'll be in class and you can work on it, but you'll have to submit it via Google Classroom to me. So, and it'll eliminate my paper here at the school. So, all right. Questions about any of those details? Thanks for all those questions so far. Those are good. Sorry, I'm looking this way. This is where my computer's at. I'm looking for chat and looking for you guys. Okay, let's jump in. Let's do a couple problems here. I'm going to do probably 1 or 2 problems to begin with on this thing, and then we're going to move to the third problem, which is based on the Ames bus schedule, so you get a sense for a real bus schedule. But this is what your homework's based on, so we're going to do most of the examples off of this. Let's pick 2 towns here. Let's say we're going to start at Largo. So we're starting at Largo, and we're going to go to Union. We're going to go to Union. Largo, this is where we're starting, and we're going to stop at Union. So, what side of my chart am I actually using? Am I using the left side or the right side of the chart? If I'm starting at Largo and going to Union, what side of the chart would I be using on this one? Yeah, I'm using the right side. Yeah, I have to use this. I have to use these numbers right here. The reason being is that you're starting at Largo, so you have to be going down. I have to start at Union, use down, so I have to use that right side. So I'm starting at 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. and I'm eventually getting to Union at 12:50 a.m. So I want to know, how long were you in that, on that bus between these two cities? Well, you can count with your fingers. I went from 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and then 12:50. So an extra 50 minutes. So that's what? 2 hours. That's 2 hours and 50 minutes, right? You could count with your fingers. Now, if you don't like doing that, you could change this to military time. So military time, you would change everything to if you're in the afternoon, you change it to 2400, or you add 12 to your items. If you're in the morning, you change it to zero. To zeros, or just keep the numbers. So like 12:50 a.m. is technically in military time. It's technically 0:50 hours, and then for 10 p.m. that is technically, if I had 12, that's 2200. And so you're looking at the difference between these. The difference from full 24 hours to this. So you're to get from 22 to all the way to 0, you had to go to 24 hours, so that's 2 hours, and then an extra 50 minutes. So I say the easiest way to do this, instead of changing to military, just count with your fingers a lot of the times. That'll get you to what you need to. But again, don't make the silly mistake of saying, oh, you're going 20 hours. No, I'm not going 20 hours. I'm going from 10 p.m. to midnight, basically. That's only a few hours. So just count common sense. Okay, does everyone understand the concept of what we're doing today? This is like the intro concept. Let's do a real problem now. Let's do one that you have to actually submit. So this will be the second problem. This is the one that everyone's kind of probably waiting for. What is the second question on the notes, so that I can submit my answer on the Google Classroom? So here it is. Second question of the day. Oop, I better leave those on there. All right. I don't want to erase anything because I gotta take screenshots of it. All right, so second question of the day. This is the real one now. We're gonna start at. Let's see. We're gonna start at Hopedale, and we're gonna go to Appleton. Okay, so we're leaving Hopedale and we're going to Appleton. So this is the second question. I want to know the hours and minutes it takes us to get there. Okay, so now for Hopedale, since we're leaving there, there's two Hopedales. You can see them right here. Which one are we using? Top one or the second one? Which one do you think? Which one would we be using on this little chart? What do you think? Two Hopedales. Which one? Top or bottom? Nope, we're using the top one. So nice try. So here's why. We're departing. So we have to use the DP Hopedale. That's departure time, that means leaving. And we're going up to Appleton. Appleton's above it. So you have to use the departure to go to Appleton. So we're starting at 12:50 p.m. and we're going to Appleton at 3:52 p.m. So we're on the bus quite a while. And I want to figure out the time that we're on. This is what the Google question says. How long was the distance between the towns? Put it in terms of hours and minutes. So Hopedale to Appleton. So since we're in normal times, we're not going to midnight, we're not going into the morning. This one you could count with your fingers again. Some people are really good about doing that. You could change it to military time, like I said earlier. I'm going to do it both ways just so you can see the answer 2 different ways. So let's just count with our fingers. So at 12:50 to 1:50, that's 1 hour. 1:50 to 2:50 is the second hour. 2:50 to 3:50 is the third hour, and then 2 extra minutes. So we're on that bus for 3 hours and 2 minutes. That's the answer that the Google form is asking for. That's what we're looking for, 3 hours and 2 minutes. So if you want to go fill out the Google form question, I know some of you have your cell phones up, you can type it in. Now, that's just counting with fingers. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe you're like, God, I don't want to count with your fingers. I want to know, like, what's the process so that it works every time? How do I do it? You could change this to, you could change this to military time, and how you change that is you would change the afternoon times. You always add 12s to it. So let me start here. So let me erase this. So again, that was 3 hours and 2 minutes. So let me get rid of that. And let's talk about the military time now. Okay, so if you're in the afternoon for military time, you add 12. So this is going to be, this is 12:50, we're already in the afternoon. And then this, we have to add 12 to it, so this is 15:52. So it's when you're after the noon hour, you have to add 12s because you're that's the second half of the day. So we're at 15:52, and what you do is you subtract these. 15:52, the later part of the day, minus the earlier part of the day. And this will tell me what my final answer is. Okay, so if I subtract 2 minus 0, that's 2. 5 minus 5 is 0. And 15 minus 12 is 3. And you can see that's 3 hours and 2 minutes. So that's how you do it. If you're in the afternoon, you change to military time. If it goes into the morning, then you have to start counting. You have to subtract from the full 24 hours and then add in the next one if you went into the wee morning hours. That was the hint I gave you on the last problem. If you ever have to pass the midnight hour. Okay, questions with what you're going to put on the Google form question. That's what your homework's based on. There's 8 questions in your homework. It's on page 217. If you go to the Google form and you check, the page that you're on, it's page 217. I have the picture of the page in the book, and I have this chart. So that's what you're going to use to answer each question. You just have to find the distance. So you just have to know where you're starting and where you're going. So if you're going from one town to another, just figure out where you're starting first and where you're going. So it tells you which side of the chart you should be using. Are you going up the chart or are you going down the chart? Just know if you're arriving or if you're departing. Usually if you're departing, that's a later time. So, all right, questions. I'll take silence as you figured this out. Okay, let's go through the last one here. The last questions. It'll be something on the Ames time. So let's use the afternoon time. So we didn't use any of these yesterday, I don't think. So let's pick. Let's say we're leaving. Let's say we're leaving the hospital, and we're going to go to Lincoln Way in Marshall. Maybe you have an apartment there in Ames. So we're starting here at the hospital, and we're going to finish up at Lincoln Way in Marshall. Maybe your apartment's right there. And I need to get home by, let's say, 3:02. I want to get home by 3:02. I want to get back to Marshall at 3:02. What time do I have to start? What time do I have to be ready for that bus? If I need to make it home by 3:02.
2:39.
Yeah, that'd be the latest bus I can take. You're absolutely right. I don't have to be on that bus. I could be on an earlier bus, but the latest bus that will get me there is 2:39. You're absolutely right, because they're straight across from each other. You get on the bus, and it tells you the times it will get you to the spot. So to get to City Hall, it'll take about 13 minutes. It'll take another, 7-8 minutes to get to the next one. It'll take another 5 minutes to get to the next stop, and then eventually it gets me to Lincoln Way in Marshall. So those are like the little things you read on the chart. How long am I on the bus total? So if I'm on the bus, if I get on at 2:39, here's 3:02 p.m. Again, these are all PMs because it's darker and bold. And I was on the bus earlier at 2:39 p.m. Well, I can't just subtract because I have to borrow. You could change these to military time. I don't necessarily need to. They're both in the afternoon. The only time you actually really need to use military time is if like one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon. So that's a little hint for you. That's the time that you have to use military. So in this case, I can't just subtract. I'm going to have to borrow, making this a 2. This is called borrowing for subtraction. I'm going to make that 3 hours, 2 hours, and so I'm going to carry over the number that I borrowed. Now, you're not going to put a 1 in the next column because when you borrow from an hour, how many minutes are in an hour? How many minutes are in an hour? It's not 1 minute. It's 60.
60.
Yeah, you have to put a 6 here. You borrowed from the hours to make it 60 minutes. Now, if that was maybe there was a time there you'd have to add 6 to it. Mine was 0, so I added 60 to that 0, so it's just 6 there. And now I'm going to borrow from that, making that a 5, and now I'm going to carry a 1 because you can actually carry 1s over when you're in the minutes category. On hours to minutes, you have to carry 60. So I'm going to, I borrowed from the 60 minutes, carry the 1 over, so 12 minus 9 is 3, 5 minus 3 is 2, and then 2 minus 2 is 0, and this is how many minutes I was actually on the bus. I was on for 23 minutes before it dropped me off. Again, if you borrow from hours, you have to carry over 60, so the 6 to the next column. And if you borrow from minutes, you just carry a 1. That's the toughest part about time. All right, questions with like bus scheduling and what we're looking at. We're going to do a couple more of these tomorrow, so don't feel like we're going to something new. Tomorrow we're going to just review some of these because some of you will be in class. The homework I'm assigning today is page 217. I have it on the Google Classroom. It's already been sent out to you. I have pictures of the work that you have to do, or the chart you're using and the page on the book, so you don't need to have your physical copy. I want all the assignments turned in by Friday. This one anyway, this bus scheduling one, and you'll submit it on Google Classroom. If you're still working on a page from last week, a worksheet, what was it, worksheet 8.2 or 8.3 or whatever it is, the distance one, I'll accept that one in person because I know that was one we had last week, so I didn't make a category in Google for that. So, all right, I'm going to turn you loose there. If you want to stick around, if you have any questions, you can stick around and you can ask away. We can go through more examples of bus schedules here, but I'm gonna honor your time today. You have plenty of time here. You can go work on your assignment. Technically, we're supposed to be in class until 10:50, so you have another 10-15 minutes you can kind of work here. If you want to log off and just kind of work on your own, I'm totally fine with you doing that. Just make sure you're working on homework, and I'll see you in the next couple days here. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. So I'll see you next time.
We didn't get a homework assignment today, did we?
This is the one that we got today. This yeah, this page 217. I think it was already submitted out. We didn't get one yesterday. Yesterday was just kind of an intro day to kind of talk about what this next couple days are going to look like.
Because I was still in bed and I forgot to set my alarm.
Yeah. So, yep. So yeah. So from now on, we'll be doing Google Classrooms and for all the assignments, and then Zooming every day, even if you're in class or not. So be prepared. And I'll submit. I submit out like the link then tonight, and then I'll submit it also tomorrow morning in case you're not in class tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, have a good one.
You too.
Yep.